Okay, so on this one, we've got a formula. Let me bring it down here, right? So y equals 2.4 square root of x plus 12. And they're saying this models the percentage of US adults who are considered obese by federal guidelines, where X is the number of years after 1985, and Y is the percent of obese adults. In this equation, Y is already converted from a decimal. So for example, a 55% obesity rate would correspond to Y equals 55. According to this formula, in what year was the obesity rate 19.6%? This is interesting. Sometimes they do this with data, right? They'll take real life phenomenon, and that, of course, in the United States, right, our population putting on a little bit of weight, and then they'll try to predict the future. They'll have an equation that'll predict the behavior and predict the future. That's what this equation is doing based on data. And now they're saying, okay, so if this equation is true, when will it be, according to this formula, in what year will the obesity rate be 19.6%? So basically that 19.6%, I'm going to plug that in. Is it X or Y? Well, it says right here that, where does it say right here? Y is the percent of obese adults. So 19.6%, that's saying Y is 19.6, right? Because Y is the percentage of obese adults. So that plugs in for Y. So you just plug that in for Y right there. Because again, they said Y is the percentage of obese adults. So, and now we need to solve this equation. The line down the middle here. We need to solve this equation for X. How do we do it? Well, we have a root. How do you solve a root equation? Here's a real life example of needing to solve a root equation. Step number one, we have to get the root alone. So we get the root alone. We subtract 12 from both sides. Boom and a boom. That's going to be what? 7.6 over there. Okay, and now we're still going. We haven't got the root alone yet. Divide by the 2.4. Like that. Boom, boom. Is that 3? No, it's not 3, is it? What is 7.6 divided by 2.4? Somebody have a number there? 7.6 divided by 2.4? 3.16? And it goes on and on and on. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. 3.16. Okay, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah, and now, so we got the root alone. All those steps were to get the root alone. And now step 2, parenthesis 2 power, parenthesis 2 power, right? Once we get a root alone, you know how we get the root off of it is we go parenthesis 2 power, parenthesis 2 power, huh? So then take that number on your calculator, that 3.16, and square it. Can somebody give me the number there? Is it 9 point something? So that last number to the second power. Everybody got that? 9 point. Yeah. So let's see here. So we're going to calculate here. 3.16, blah, 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 blah. And then if we go second power on that, so second power, we get 10 point, oh, it's actually 10.02, 027, blah, blah, blah. And the other side is just X. Yeah, so really you should use more, actually, I should have used more accuracy here. We should use this, would be 3 point, what would it be? It would be 3.1666, use like 4 decimals just to be safe. And when you square it, you get 10.027. So you see what happened there on this side, it got rid of the root, didn't it? Second power gets rid of the root. So that went away like that on that. Thank you. And then 10.027, so that's the X value. Now careful, does that mean, this is where it's easy to get tripped up, to do all that good work and then not read the fine print on the contract. X is 10, you might say, well, X is 10. They said round to the nearest actual year, so it's just gonna be 10. Well, careful. Look what it says X is. Here, let's read the fine print. It says X is the number of years after 1985. After. So if X is 10, right? I got 10. That's 10 years after 1985, right? It said X is years after 1985. So 10 years after 1985 is the year what? 1995. So that's the actual year, isn't it? Does that make sense on that? That would be 1995 there. So it's how many years after 1985? That's what the fine print said. So if X is 10, you got to add 10. So that would be the year 1995. And so that's tricky to watch out for on that. And let me check. What if you get a higher number? Let me double check. Make sure we've got this right. I give you the. Yeah. So. Yeah. What if I had gotten a? Let me ask you this. What if I had gotten an answer like 10.92? What if I'd gotten? Watch out. This will trick you guys and gals. Watch this. What if I had gotten an answer? I'll just say a what if. What if I got an answer like 10.92? Would I round that to 11? No, actually, I wouldn't. If you add the year again, add 1985. Huh? If you add 1985, then that would be 1995.92. That would be the year. Now, what does that mean? That means near the end of the year 1995. The 0.9 means like the 0.92. That means like most of the way through, right? If I said I had, 92% of the class got an A, that'd be great. That's almost the whole class. It's almost everybody, right? So think about that. That's the 1995 year near the end. It's not quite to the 1996 yet, is it? So it's still in the year 1995. So our answer would still be in the year 1995. It's just near the end of the year, right? That's what that 0.92 means. Right, if you're 92% of the way through something, if class is 92% of the way over, if our semester is 92% of the way over, it's not. But if it was, that means we're almost through it, but we're still in the semester. We're not to the next semester yet, right? So watch out, don't round those up. Because why? Because of what they said. What did they say? In the year. In the year. Yeah. Okay, good. Tell me your number. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Because sometimes they do it differently. Tell me your numbers real quick. Yeah. Uh-huh. And well, X was years after 1995 or 1985? What do the words say on yours? Same thing?
Yeah.
Years after 1985? They don't change that, do they? On yours, did they keep those same numbers on yours?
No, it was 1989.
Years after 1989?
So I got.
So and then what did they plug in? What was your Y?
It was
13.8? Okay, let me try yours real quick. So then we subtract 8 from both sides. 2.6 root x. And this would be 5.8. And then we divide by the 2.6. Boom, boom. This is square root of x. And I use your calculator real quick. All right, and so we get 5.8 divided by 2.6. And I'm getting 2.23076, and then we 2 power that on both sides. And I get x equals 4.97, like you said, 4.97, and that was years after 1989. That's what yours said. So yeah, so if you add the 4.7 or 4.9, I mean, and 4.9, so plus 1989, because that's years after 1989, I get 1993.976. And you're saying you put in the year 1994 and they took it
Yeah.
and it said, wow, okay. Oh, okay. So thank you for that correction then. So I guess I should pay attention to these words: nearest actual year. They're being kind of contradictory because they said in the year, but that's all right. Thanks for the correction on that. So nearest actual year. So I take it back. So they do want you to round. So they're really being a little inconsistent in what they're doing, but that's okay. So yeah, thank you for that correction. It looks like the question does want you to round to the nearest year. It's technically near the end of 1993, but the nearest would be 1994. Great, thank you. So yeah, do it that way and it will work. There we go.